22 hours on the hour every hour, and this is the best 24-hour live I've ever done because we've had such an amazing team around me to support me. We're in the past, I had a team, but nothing like the team that we have today to be able to support. So it's been actually quite enjoyable, and I've been able to nap in between, but also while I'm napping, I'm knowing that things are going out for me, and follow-ups are happening, and questions are getting answered in the background where, a few years ago when I did this last, there was less team. So I was answering messages in between, replying to emails, like doing all of the things. But we're going to talk about in the next session, we've got a live open Q&A. So come and join us. You can ask questions about, how did we do it? Why did we do it? What kind of results were we looking at? Any of the topics that we've covered, you can come on in and ask about the topics. And if there was anywhere where you're stuck, somebody did say one of the topics, because we had a sound problem with the app I was using. I got to the juicy part. Apparently the sound disappeared. So come and join. We're doing it's like a finale. It's a full 2 hours where you can pick our brains. My whole team and I are going to come together and sort of celebrate that we've made this together. And it's all going to happen inside of Zoom. So to get access to Zoom, you just need to click on the link around this video, and you'll see that there's you can grab the workbook, and then also once you've got that workbook, we'll be able to message you the Zoom link as well. And the replays are going to be up for 24 more hours. So if you want to binge it later and you're just joining the fun right now, well, that's okay. You've still got 24 hours to binge. I've tried to keep, apart from the interview sessions, under 15 minutes, so that you're not. It's not going to take you 24 hours to watch everything, right? So go binge, put it on 4x speed or however fast you watch them as well, and you will have 24 hours to complete the scavenger hunt that is inside of the workbook, and then we're going to do a prize draw for whoever. We'll do a prize draw for the scavenger hunt for everybody, and we'll choose some winners to get some sparkle mail. But now I want to introduce you to an amazing woman who's been working with us for a very short amount of time. She's also loved the program that much. She's also upgraded to the Freedom Funnel Academy. So she's one of the students that have decided to join us in the new program as well, because I guess she likes us. Her name is Erin, and she's a lactation educator. And you can find her on Nursing Mamas, and I know she's on Instagram, and we're going to talk more about that. So let me bring in Erin. Hello, lady. I know you're losing your voice, but thank you so much for joining me,
I
even
know.
though.
I'm sorry. I feel fine. I'm here for you. I just sound terrible. So I'm sorry.
No, you've got that is that really sexy, like, call me
Oh,
now
yeah.
voice going on, right?
Give me a podcast. Yeah.
We I get the same thing as you. I lose my voice a few times a year. So yeah, I get it. You feel fine. It's just it decides it wants to leave. My husband literally loves it. And my mom and everyone, they all pick on me. They love it because I can't talk and I can't do anything. So a few people have seen the tangent bell that comes out when Sally goes off on tangents, right, in team meetings. But this was actually bought. My mum bought this for me originally because I kept losing my voice, and I'd be banging on the table trying to get. Like, I need to say something. Please look at me so you can read my lips. So she bought me this bell for when I lose my voice.
That's brilliant because I've been like snapping my fingers and clapping my hands. Like, come here.
So totally tell him to look out for one of these little, that they're awesome. So whenever I like, literally it lives in my pocket when I lose my voice, because it's horrible, isn't it? You're like bang, bang, bang.
Well, and I have a 2-year-old who doesn't get it. So he's just like, why? Why aren't you talking? I'm like, and keeps asking me things. So it doesn't help. So
Well, Erin, you why don't you share with everybody what it is that you do, and yeah, just let everyone know a little bit more about you, and why you sort of started the business that you did.
sure. Well, I am a lactation educator, and part of my motivation, one was I nursed my daughter a really long time. She was what you could call a successful nursing journey. It was tough in the beginning, and we made it 4.5 years. And in the middle of that, I had my son. They're 3 years apart, and I thought, I know what I'm doing now, this is fine, this is perfect." But he was a very different experience, and he weaned himself at 4 months, and, I ended up being a pumping, supplementing mama for him. And after those 4.5 years, I just felt like I had so much information and knowledge, and it felt like a waste to not do anything with it. And in the middle of all of this, COVID hit, and I quit my job because I was nursing both of them, or nursing and pumping, and all the things, and I needed stimulation for myself too. I was a teacher, a college instructor for 10 years, and so and I even have a master's in health communication. So it just kind of took everything I had and tweaked the direction slightly and landed me here. And also I do virtual online education, and another motivating factor for that was COVID, and seeing at least 4 of my friends and family who had kids that year have no care, because when everything went virtual, no one was prepared for that, and, hospitals just canceled classes. They had no education, and, I wanted to fix that. And what I've realized since starting is that there's a lot of people in the US and around the world that do not have local access to that lactation education, and so it's enabled me to work with a lot of people around the world, and it's been amazing.
And how was business? Like, how did you discover the sparkle world, and how was business before you joined?
Okay, so I had nothing before I joined. I had literally had my brand. I had my branding, my logos, basically. Um, and I found you through Shalene Johnson's Marketing Impact Academy. You're an instructor in there. And I knew I wanted to create courses. And you had a course in her course about making courses. And you had a free, free call. And so I called, and I knew I needed someone to hold my hand because it was the back end stuff that was killing me. I didn't want to have to learn everything by myself. And I tend to I'm really good with instructions, but I get overwhelmed easily, and I'm not sure which way to go. And so I just kind of get frozen. And it was clear for what you were offering that that was what I needed at the time. So 6 months ago now, that was only 6 months ago, um, you got me on Kajabi, on Keep, on, Zapier, on Canva, and I've made 24 landing pages. I've made a virtual boot camp that is now my online course that is hosted on Kajabi. I, I had it written down, and now I don't remember how many emails. I think over 20 emails in automation for when people sign up for my freebies. They are automatically getting those emails. And we're running a challenge right now. So um I felt very, very pleased with what I got out of the 6 months of working with you. And I also want to be clear that you didn't do the work for me. I want to be really, really clear about that, that you don't do the work for people. You told me what to do, and I did it. And that's what got me here. And so I think if you are willing to let people let someone tell you what to do and then actually take action on it, then working with you and Kat and Jackie and everyone else new coming to the team, like, this is perfect for you. Um, and oh, you mentioned, social media too. So, like, you've taught me, we've tried to figure out, I wasn't on Instagram. I literally didn't even have a personal account.
I
I
know,
didn't want
it's so funny.
and I was thinking, "No, I'm gonna do Facebook," but it was clear that that's not where my audience was. My audience is on Instagram, and so I literally was like, "What's the difference between a post and a story? I don't get it." And you guided me and held my hand, and you're so patient with all of my questions because I'm constantly in the Zoom room. Anytime I get stuck, I don't try to figure it out myself. I'm in there asking you guys questions because it's so much faster. And you would share your screen with me, or like, this circle, this is a story. This is what you do. And not saying that you are social media, but you helped guide me to figure out how to do it. So that's why I when the 6 months was coming up, I was like, I can't not have Sally because I don't know what to do next. She tells me what to do.
I love that. I love that. I love that. And one of the things, like I tell people all of the time, and that 85% of our clients when they first join, they think it's going to take a really long time to get that first client,
Mm.
but the first project, most of our clients end up with clients, and that's our message mining project. Tell us a little bit about what happened with yours.
Yes, so that was fantastic, and I'm actually doing it again right now. I'm in the process of it. But I just on a mom Facebook group that I'm in, I just had a message that you gave me a prompt for that was like, "Hey, I'm just looking for people who for me it was pregnant women who are planning to nurse and breastfeed. If this is you and you have 30 minutes of time, it's not a sales call. It's please help me with some research." And I had some people who were willing to do that. And then for a gift, I gave them a free prenatal consult. From that, one of my research people turned into the free consult, which turned into an offer. And I created my boot camp for her. She's my lifer. She was my first client and she's my lifer. I was with her prenatal. I was with her in the immediate after. And now, oh, and I forgot my membership. I also have a membership program that you suggested. And she is now part of a bi-week or no, twice a month membership where we go in and, the people in it get like a topic for the week and some consults time. And yeah, and that all came from that one message mining um, session. So you gave me my first client, which just tumbleweeded to everything else because I built it for her getting other people on along the way.
And you're an action taker. That's the thing, right? Like you've got to pound the pavement in the beginning and build it up. But now we're really moving for you into that measure and optimize and repeating
Yeah.
stage, right? Like that first build takes a bit of time, but there's less building now. You can more about just tacking little pieces on. So how does that
Yeah.
feel kind of getting past that build stage now? Like you said, however many emails and landing pages and all the things that you've built to become somebody who had a challenge to a boot camp to a course, now with a membership program, which is like you just follow the steps, and I mean, it just makes me so proud when clients just like you and all the other ones that we've spoken through over this 24-hour challenge. The difference is they take action. Like we give you deadlines too, right? Like we set dates
Mhm.
with you. We go through calendars and we map out your plan. And I know for me, it was always I needed a deadline or I just
Yeah.
keep doing nothing. But and we learn along the way too. Like not everything always works out absolutely perfect. Like we were discussing before we came in here, you're like, I won't launch in December again. And I said, yeah, not a
Yeah.
good time to launch, right? Um,
Yeah.
so even the downs, we always are looking for the solution and focusing in on that. Out of all of the pieces that you've done, so there's message mining and the course and the click by click and the VODs and all the things. What would you say is your favorite part of being in the academy?
The vase, for sure. I'm a little selfishly sad that more people will be coming in because I love my time with you, but to like oh, and it's also beautiful for me, what really works nicely is because I'm in the US, you're in Australia, and I come in after the kids go to sleep, and so it really worked really nicely for me, but I would come in, it was a work environment. It's isolating a lot of times working by yourself on a new business, and I am a people person, working from home, and it's hard, and so, whether it's just you or Kat or other people in there and hearing their struggles, a couple of the times it's been I've been in there working and hearing someone else talk to you and realizing I was their target audience, and so I just would chime in and be like, "I'll talk to you," you know? Um, so I love the community you're building and how it's just not always there, but you're there so much more of the time than anyone else I've ever worked with, and it's been a really amazing part of it.
Well, there are a few people joining, but we did put a limit on it. And also, you always come in really late. Like 90% of our people are in America, and they're always in our mornings, and that's why I've just had to become a morning person because that's where most of our people are. But you're a night owl. You're in
Well,
when
that's so it's so funny. I'm really not I'm a forced night owl. It's just what I've had to adjust myself. Like, if I wanna get this done, it wasn't gonna happen if I tried to do it during the day because, like, right now, I'm sick, my kid's home. I had to cancel 2 other appointments, and it just won't work if I don't dedicate time to it when I know I'm gonna have it. And so that's why this worked really nicely too.
well, funny, like because I'm not a morning person and I make it work because when you love what you do it regardless of the time or even in the early stages, the money too. Like we don't do this like we want to make money and pay the bills and do all of those things, but originally why we start is because like it's selfish of us not to share the skills that we've got and we just want to be able to help people. And I've watched you like tell us about Instagram. Like what are some of the strategies because you've grown really fast from never using Instagram and zero followers
Yeah.
and share with everybody some of the strategies that we've put together and in place and now what you're sort of doing with those because I'm sure lots of people would like to know hey you've gone to what you must be getting close to 500-600 people now since December.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get hit 600 by tomorrow or Friday. Yeah. So it's really exciting. I know. So one of the strategies I have to say is hiring someone. I was hearing this not just from you, but other people, like, you have to hire before you think you're ready, and, so I did it because I was spending way too much time in Canva trying to make things look pretty, and making posts. And so I hired out to do the things that I was not good at and was wasting my time. And as soon as I did that, it opened up my ability to actually work on the content of the things I want to sell. Because I wasn't doing that because I was trying to, get on Instagram. And so that was one strategy. And she literally just, and she's in the Philippines. And so again, similar to you, when I'm sleeping, she's working. And I wake up to a laundry list of people accepting my follows, and she's posting things or, like, scheduling things for me or approving, like, sending me things to approve. So it's been such a good well-oiled machine. But another strategy that's helping me with content that I developed and I'm not nervous about going live. I taught, like, in person for 10 years. This doesn't scare me. I've messed up bad in front of people, so messing up bad in lives don't bother it's whatever. But, I decided to go live weekly with either a mom with a unique breastfeeding story or, a specialist of some type that gives me my content for that week. It gives me my post, it gives me some stories to talk about, and, even sometimes reels when get I usually batch those and then kind of dole them out when I can. And so I'm booked out through April right now. I started in December. So I just started in December with 0 followers. I'm almost at 600, and every person I've asked to be on a live has said yes. So I'm looking for people now for May, which is just amazing and crazy to me that so many people are willing. And there's a really cool thing on Instagram now where you can actually press a button and your post will show up not just on your feed, but on their feed. So I'm starting with that and hoping that's going to get more viewers because it's actually on their page. And I'm looking at now that my numbers are up because numbers are credibility. It's only been a few months, but people look at a page, they see how many followers you have and assume that you're credible because of it. But so the more numbers I have, the more likely I'll get other, not necessarily influencers, but micro influencers, to come on the lives, and it'll start to go from there too. And then I'm, of course, promoting everything through Instagram as well.
Yeah, and it's awesome. I mean, we did the same thing, and this we spoke about this. Like people love to talk about themselves, so when you
Yeah.
bring them in, and that's how I started out. When I had no money, I was interviewing people, and then they would invite me to come and be interviewed by them, and we get to utilize each other's audiences. And then we created joint ventures, which is another thing that we teach inside of the Sparkle world is, how do we then get into their audience, and we pay them for their time as well. We're not paying for ads, and we don't have to pay unless we make money. But watching you kind of, we have these conversations, we sit in the room, we do a strategy, and the next thing you're popping back in and going, I'm booked out till April. Like, you pound the pavement. You really do go through it for and take action. And, a lot of the time we say no to startups, like people because they expect that they're going to make $1 million in 6 months, right? But when I met you, I already knew that, like, you had that vision, and I could tell you were going, I've got goosebumps, seriously. I've got goosebumps all over, because we do turn startups away a lot unless I get that impression that they're not worried about investing time and investing money, because they know their vision is big enough. And the small investment that it costs for the tech and all of the other things, you're going to get it back. So, and that's the only way to really grow a business. I was the same. Like, I was finding where I could find things to sell when I started, because my vision and my belief in what I was building was big enough. And I saw that in you. And I remember getting off the phone when we had our first conversation, and I said to Kat, she's going to be amazing. She is going to do amazing things. And when you were coming to the end of your, I literally got goosebumps all over. When you were coming to the end of your contract, I'm like, I need to keep working with her selfishly to see where you go. Like, I want to be part of your journey. And when you said you wanted to come back, I said to Kat, oh my God, thank God. Because if you've created what you've done in 6 months, continuing to guide you and then watch you take those strategies and implement them without questioning them, you just go, okay, and off you go. Because we know they work, because we work with so many people, but other people will go and, this other person said this or that. You don't. You're just like, okay, and off you go. And it shows that when people just follow the steps, regardless of what industry you're in. Some people think that, you can't take, I've had people like, I've got one-on-one clients and I don't know how to do lactation. Literally, I've had people on the phone, how to do it in an online setting. And you're testament that, like, I truly believe most business models can be taken online. And we were using Zoom before anyone knew what Zoom was. 2015,
Oh,
the
you were on
VOZ
the cutting edge of
existed,
that. Yeah. Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Well, I think for me, the benefit is because I am a teacher, is what I love to do, and I think that was the motivating factor too, is like, I need to get past this other stuff I'm gonna say crap that I don't like, that you like. You like the back end stuff, and I need to get past it so I can do what I love, which is making the course. And you actually, I'll share our first conversation. I was like, my first question to you was like, "What microphone should I get?" And you were like, stop thinking about microphones. You straight up said, stop thinking about microphones. That's not what you should be thinking about. You need to be thinking about this. And I just loved how straightforward you were with me. And you tell me what to do. And I trust you. And I also trust you because I see I watch you, right? I watch what you're doing. I see you doing challenges. I see everything that you are implementing. I get your emails, right? And I see it. And it was hard at first, and you kept saying, just trust the process. You'll see it. You'll figure out it's not in the order you think it's going to be in that we're telling you to do it. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, okay, I see it now. I get it. I get how it's all coming together. And you really have to reverse engineer everything. You have to see where you want to be at the end and backtrack. And that part is hard, I think, for some people because you have to really see big picture to then focus in on what you have to do today.
That saying, that trust the process, comes up multiple times a day with all our clients, because it is, I always use the user experience of when a user experience of the car, for example. They have a key, they put it in the ignition and it starts, or they open the door and they they sit in and they put the key in and it starts. But that's not the build order The build order is you need a chassis, you got to put some wheels, you got to put the engine in, you got to do the externals and paint, and then eventually the ignition goes in and the seat goes in and the door goes on. So the build is different than the user experience. And that's why I'm always like, just trust the process, because you don't build it in the same way that you experience the actual funnel. And when people just trust and click the button and do the doing, they're always asking questions so far ahead of time. I'm like, it's coming. Trust it's
Yeah.
coming. And if I overwhelm you with what's coming, you get people, I see it all the time, they get so overwhelmed. And this is just from experience with working with people. If I go and try and explain it all to them, they think, oh, too hard, they throw their hands in the air and they just give up. Where it's just like, well, just click that button, write that email, I promise at the end. And like you said, it doesn't, it's just, oh, I can see it now. How long do you reckon it took you from that confusion and worrying about a microphone to sort of seeing how all of the pieces fit together?
Um, all the pieces, probably a couple months, of work. Another motivating factor to get you was that I had to set a deadline for myself for September. Oh gosh, I forget the date now. I wanted to launch on the 1-year anniversary of my last pump session, and I had, like, a
Oh, I
month.
remember that. Yes.
And so I still didn't know a lot of it. I got enough up. I had my homepage up. We had a freemium up, a landing page. We had the back end, like 12 emails. And so I got enough of that to see how that was going to cycle people in. And once they were in, then they began, I can guide them to the other things I was building later. Um, and I'm a perfectionist. Um, I work every day to overcome, like, just to let that go. Like, if I'm launching something, telling myself, "This is not perfect, but it's launched, and then we can fix it." Because if you're just sitting there tweaking everything and colors and this and that, like, my challenge name, I totally wanna change now. I'm like, "This isn't working," but it's out there, and I ran it and know now what to adjust, and I can get that feedback.
That's it.
Um
It's learning, isn't it? Through the people you work with. And you get to earn
Yeah.
while you learn at the same time, which is
Yes.
what a great, like, that's what I love about this business model. And I'm still learning. Like, I mean, the whole new Freedom Funnel is a culmination of everything we've learned over the last 4.5 years of, like, when I went in hard into this full time. It was always, on the back end of me teaching and, running a network marketing company. But then when I went in full on, I mean, it looks nothing like it did when I first started. And that isn't because of, like, necessarily the research into my competitors. It's because of the people that we work with that changes it. And of course, we've rebranded it and it's no longer the Sales and Marketing School, it's the Freedom Funnel Academy, because it's one funnel. Like, it's one strategy versus if you look in the old Sales and Marketing School, and we were talking about this before you came in, before we went live, was your first course kind of grows into this beast, and then you start to pull things out of it that are not relevant to get people to the result. Because the faster we can get people there, like, this is why I love the message mining, because 85% of our clients, they get clients from it,
Yeah.
and it used to be a little bit further down the track. And when I moved it to the front, people are getting these wins and clients, and it keeps them moving. And it wasn't until working with clients that we realized that it's actually better a little further up front. Before I even get them setting their goals, I get them onto message mining, because they may not totally be speaking to their ideal client avatar, but the potential of them landing a client is so high. Where sometimes people are like, okay, set your goals and then, write about your ICA before you even get into that. I'm like, no, let's make you some money.
Yeah, well, another example of the original message mining that I did that I learned from was one of the people who volunteered was, like, 10 weeks pregnant, like, really early in the 1st trimester, and, it was very clear that she was not ready for the breath to talk about that, and it helped me hone in, and, I also talked to someone who was, like, 38 weeks, and she just didn't have time for what I had to give, and so my sweet spot is that, like, late 2nd trimester, early 3rd trimester, and but that came literally from the message mining and actually talking to people, seeing their needs, seeing their concerns, their thoughts, and where they're meeting them where they're at. And that helped tailor the message.
Yeah, we say that we go and we meet them where they're at, and then we find out what they want, and then we show them what they need. Because a lot of the time they think, we
Oh
say
my
this all the
God.
time, right? They tell us what they think they need. It's not normally what they need; it's just what they want, but they don't know what they need yet. That's why they're
Yeah.
stuck, right? That's
Well,
why they
and that's
have
what
those
I'm working on
concerns.
right now. Yeah, that's my next round of message mining because I know what they want. They want to know what stuff to buy. And I know what they need, which is actually a breastfeeding plan and education before baby comes. And I have to figure out how to overcome that barrier. How can I package it to make it appealing?
That's it. Messaging. All comes
Yeah.
back to messaging. And I mean, even us, years and years later, we still do this once or twice a year because
Yeah, yeah,
you
it's great.
forget where you are with your clients because you're so in it with your current clients. You've got to remember and go back sometimes. And as we grow and as we get better, and this may happen with you, a lot of these tribes that you're building now that are in that sort of second or third trimester or whatever, they're going to grow with families, and you may
Yeah.
find you move well beyond that into toddlers one day. Do you know what I mean? And you're bringing a team on supporting different areas. Like my first live was hit the go, my first course was hit the go live button, and then I found that I was getting stuck with people's mindset when I got into teaching them about funnels, and it was the mindset holding them back. So I went and learned how to do mindset, and I'm like, well, that's still not the thing that I love. So we hired Jackie to fill that gap. I knew I needed ads. I learned how to do ads. So then I taught it, but it's like I hate ads. So we hired Brandon. And then these people start filling the rest of your business for you. You've got to learn it first, and then you hire yourself out of the jobs you don't like. And as you scale and grow, you'll find the area you love to be in the most. And then you can start hiring people and create like a whole academy of coaches within. And this is the vision I see for you. I'm always seeing your vision, but having a lots of different experts, so they come to you not just for you but for your experts. And then your team become your best clients, right? Because they're the ones out there helping you create community. And yeah, so exciting. So exciting. You're doing amazing things. We have a party coming up soon. If you've got time, even if you just jump in, it's starting in half an hour. It's our finale of this crazy 24-hour
How
live.
are you doing? You're so energetic. I don't understand.
So there was twice in between. I did like a really like a short 10 minute, and I got like a nice like 35, 40 minute power nap. And I think that's a good, I believe that sort of 40-minute power nap, if you get it, gets you through one good cycle of sleep that you can wake up and feel like you're awake and alive. And I set my alarm for that. And then Brandon was so awesome. He took my 2 a.m. time slot. So when I finished my 1 o'clock, I literally messaged him at 1:15 and said, "Are you good for 2?" And he goes, "Yep." And I go, "I'm off to sleep." And so I slept from just after 1 right through till 5 minutes to 3. So I got a good nearly 2 hour block in there. And then Jackie was supposed to do the 4 and 5, so that I could have another little nap after the 3. But she couldn't. But I found that because the last couple of times I've done that, that sort of 2 o'clock, that's where you hit the wall and your neurons start doing crazy things and you can't think straight. One of them I fell asleep in, and I
Like
missed a
in
session.
Oh,
Yeah, that was previously. But also now it's easier because I have that team. Like they're invested in the business doing well. Where before, like normally I'd be like, oh, I want to send this bot out, right? Or I want to send this email out. And I would have to go and send the email, or Kat would have to send the email. But this time I'm on like, Brandon, can you start these ads? Richard, James, can you send that bot? Kat, oh, I reckon we're at 12 hours. Could you quickly send a message and say that we're halfway? Do you know? Like normally, like 2 years ago, I wouldn't. My struggle was asking for help, even though I had help around me, because it was outside of hours. but they know
Mm.
when we're in this stage, they show up. Like Kat went to bed last night and I think I got her to send the last message at about 10 o'clock. I said, go to sleep now. I'll see you in the morning. But I wasn't scared to ask her at 10 o'clock to send a message, where at previous times, a couple of years ago, I would have been super scared because I, didn't want to take advantage of them. But they're all invested and they know now what a launch does and the types of people that we bring in, that they love it. But, it's taken us, 4 years full time I've been at this now, and it's changed a lot. And we're going to talk a lot more about this in the after party, about, what we've done, how we've kind of pulled this off, and how I actually don't feel like I'm dead, because literally, because Kat's seen me in the previous couple of times I've tried to do this, and she has literally, from the time registration closes for the cut, which finishes today, she blocked out in my calendar. She said to me, have you looked at your calendar? And I'm like, no, because you usually just tell me what to do. And so I went and had a look, and she blocked out my entire afternoon that says Sally sleeping. Is she
Oh
beautiful?
god. So you have to have someone telling you what to do too.
Totally, all the time, right? I've got a coach that tells me what to do and checks my copywriting and checks my systems. And, the other day they pointed something out that I didn't even know I was doing with one of my products, that I'm like, oh my God, I didn't see it. I should have seen it, and I probably would have seen it in somebody else's, but I didn't see it in my own. So, I have a coach and a team of coaches, and I heard Shalene actually saying she's got an ADHD life manager. I'm like, I need that. I'm an undiagnosed. I truly believe I'm undiagnosed because I've never gone to
See?
have it. But I am always like, Danny's like, where are you right now? Because I'll be here, there, and everywhere. But I really need, I said, one of the next, well, I need to hire a couple more people first, but I'm totally getting like an executive assistant, but one that's not too scared to clean the office as well. Anyway, Erin, I want to take a quick break and get all the team together before we start the party. If you want to come in, I'll shoot you a link. We're about to start the Zoom party soon, but thank you so much for coming in. But before we head off, like anyone who's thinking about joining you and the other people in the Funnel Freedom Funnel Academy, what would you say to them?
To join me, like check me out?
Oh no!
Well, definitely
Sorry, yeah. Well, they can totally check you out. But if they were thinking of like, because we've got lots of messages coming in, not sure if I want to or if I
nervous.
should. They're
Yeah,
nervous because it's not a small investment. What would you say
absolutely.
about, especially because of the investment?
I would say, especially I know one of the things that made me nervous was, Keep, or like all of the monthly charges. I'm like, well, why wouldn't I just stick with Mailchimp instead of go to Keep? And it's because for me, that's the part I hate, is setting all that stuff up. And why would I do it twice? Because the thing with Mailchimp is it doesn't do automation, I believe, or at least to a certain extent. And once you get to a certain level where hopefully you want to be, you're not going to be wanting to write all these emails. And now it's done. I have emails done for every program I have already, and I'm not. Besides changing dates, it's done. And that was that big picture thing. That was the aha moment of like, oh, I see now, because now I don't have to do it again. And so if you are struggle with figuring out what to do, you don't like back end stuff, and you just need someone to guide you, but you're willing to put in the work, then work with Sally. Like, just work with her and do it. Join Funnel, the Freedom Funnel, because it's amazing.
And you're amazing. You did the hard work too. You guys are the reason why I get up every morning, and it's just, I love what I do so much, and that's why this hasn't felt like a struggle. People are like, how do you do it? How have you done this thing? I'm like, I love it. I just love it with
Yeah.
every ounce of my being. I spend more time with you guys than I do with my poor husband. All right, thank you so much, Erin. Everyone, say thank you to Erin for sharing her amazing story. We really, really appreciate you. And for everybody else who's catching this live stream, or even if you're on the replay and you've made it to the end, we're going to do a live session where we're literally, it's like a party that where the dance party is supposed to start in 5 minutes from now. So I'm going to get the dance party up and running, and then we will be opening up for people who want to know, how did we do this? How, and all of the things. And we've had loads of questions coming in about the Freedom Funnel Academy. So we're going to share with you like what's in it, right? So you can make an informed decision, because we really haven't spoken much about it. So if that's something that you're interested in learning more about, or even just considering for in the future, come have a look. I'm going to walk through that as well, for those that are, want to kind of work out how to work with us and get the sorts of results that you've seen, like Erin and all the other guests that we've had on as well. But honestly, it's going to be a party. I want to hear your thoughts and pick our brains and share, how do we create this like crazy 12-hour marathon and all the other things that we've done, especially all the challenges. We've done so many challenges in the last couple of months, and any of the questions that you may have that have popped up. So feel free. We will be sending an email out to you guys and letting you know where the link is. But the best way to get the link is to click the link which asks for the workbook, because that little bot is going to send the Zoom link in about 3 or 4 minutes. So click that link. Otherwise, you'll be getting an email about it. And we'll see you in the vase. Thanks, guys.